Hi guys, back out again to test the BCB MK2 a second time and to get it right this time, so stand by. Having taken some good advice from forces people and ex-forces people, you need to have a shelter around your MK2 because there are so many holes in it that a lot of the energy and heat can be lost very quickly. Having watched a YouTube video, a military demonstration video on using the MK2, the private, he used gel which burns furiously fast, and he did not get a rolling boil. He got half a mug of hot water to heat up his meal and just enough to make a quick brew and move on. So that's what they're good for. But I like the idea of the holes because when you do have a wood stove burning of an evening, you have a contained fire, so it's basically a twig stove, and you could cook, I guess, by turning your BCB mug halfway around so there's a gap either side for the flames to lap up and ventilate. So it could be a very effective way of purifying water if you have dry tinder. So I'm giving it top marks today because I've already tested it this morning using hexablock and meth, and it has worked. Just 1 ounce of meth without the water in it, so you get a fierce and quick burn. You could put 20% water in, 10 or 20% water in, and it would make the fuel cleaner, which I tried. I also did a 50-50 water and meth, and it did bring a boil, just about a boil, after a whole quarter of an hour, 20 minutes. So it's all, oh, look at that, full power, and it's only been running for 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and look, I think we might already have a boil. Meths is cleaner and biofuel is cleaner. Biogel, well, yeah, if you like biogel, use it. But my choice is meths with perhaps 10% water in it, and you'll get a boil inside 4 minutes, which is really impressive. Let's just prove the point. So that's 400 or half a litre of water boiled in under 5 minutes. There's the proof. So it's been running for about 4 to 5 minutes and we have a rolling boil. So I'm very pleased with that. The secret is to use the kit properly, make sure it's sheltered, and use a fuel that suits you, cleaner the better, and that's the business. The thing I like about using the rope underneath is holds 1 fluid ounce of fuel and burns for no longer than 7 to 9 minutes. So once you're finished, you've got your rolling boil, you can just let it burn off, and you know you're not wasting a lot of fuel. So that means 1 ounce of fuel per brew up, and a cook if you're away for 2 days. That'll be about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 7 ounces of fuel a day. Urine sample bottles or those type, which are just over an ounce. An ounce of fuel takes us to about there, and a bit extra is always handy if you're burning tinder to give it a kick start. So it's all good. So now I'm going to try the Trangia burner, which I've tried before, and they're all pretty high flare. I think the older Trangias were built in the early 50s, about 1952. They were probably made of a better material and maybe burnt as probably better. But no matter where you buy a Trangia now, if it's a replica or a reproduction, they're all much the same. They flare quite high, which is quite alarming initially, but once you get used to that, it's not too bad. And if your pot's contained and lidded and sheltered, the flame's going to produce a boil even more quickly and burn off. So that's why I like to use the measuring, so it burns off quickly, done and dusted between 7 and 9 minutes, 1 ounce of fuel used. The other system is to have the Trangia full up and use it 3 or 4 or 5 times, but I think it burns up the fuel so efficiently that you'll get through quite a lot. So I like to limit it to just about an ounce and a bit in a small sample bottle. So yes, I'm a happy bunny today because it all seems to be going to plan. There's no biting cold wind. So the moral of the story again today is on test 2 that the Mark II is efficient and good for a quick burn to warm up a very quick meal for soldiers on the move, where they'll just put the foil meals into half a mug of hot water. It doesn't have to be a rolling boil, they're just heating up their food, having a hot drink and moving on. So that's definitely a yes, 100% well-designed piece of kit. As I've said before, in cold conditions, meths doesn't operate very well with all these vents without a proper protection around it. So you either carry a windshield like this, or make a very small one with tin, spray it green like I often do, and it's very lightweight and can be wrapped around just as effectively. So the secret is to use this and make it happen. It all comes from experience, of course, and the good advice of other people. So to all of you people out there, thank you. I do have another confession to make, everybody. I was too lazy to take the fire rope out and just lay the Trangia on top of it, which raised it a little bit higher than it should be. And with the mug on top, the heat was not reaching as it should. So don't be lazy, remove the fire rope if you're going to use a Trangia. So as we know from our school days, the tip of the yellow flame, the brightest, yellowest part of a flame, is where it's at its hottest. And if you're too close to it, you're just getting perimeter heat, which is not quite enough. That's what happened here, and it won't happen again. So I've raised it by turning the mug round and sitting it, instead of on the crossbar, sitting it on the edges of the base, and the flame is lapping around it nicely. So I would have got a rolling boil, I think, in 5 to 6 minutes, and because of my laziness, it's about double the time. So I suppose in some ways, if you're making a soup, a slow cook soup, I guess that's one way of doing it. Reduce the oxygen flow. Look at that burning, boiling straight away, you know. So the energy just needed to be allowed to get there. And so, in all truth and honesty, I think a rolling boil could have been achieved in under 4 minutes. But overall, it's a happy one, because I now know the system works if you use it correctly. So good luck, everybody. So my ounce of fuel is only half used, so it could take about 3 or 4 minutes for that to burn off. I'm prepared to leave it to do so because there's no wind today, so it's relatively safe. So today's drill for me has produced a very positive outcome. I would give the Mark II the same status as the Mark I, just they have to be managed slightly differently. Non-rolling boil, instant heat up in 5 minutes for a soldier on the field. It would be okay to use the Mark II with gel, messy as it is, and get your hot lunch put together in 4 minutes and your brew down in 3 minutes and back on your feet and go. But I think for me, as a civilian, definitely for bushcrafting, I would say back to the fire rope with a good shield round it, and that leaves open the option to pile sticks on later on after the meal's cooked and turn the system into a twig stove. So those are my options. Okay, twigs will leave residue and soot on your equipment, but you know, clean it up on the ground, rub it against the grass, keep it in a bag, keep the kit functional, and you can go from wood to wood on a 3 or 4 day patrol, so to speak, unseen, stealth camping and enjoying being out in the environment any time of the year, and you've got a good system for cooking. So I'll be carrying probably a bigger bottle of meth wrapped in a sock, keep it protected at my back, especially in the winter, and I'll still carry a little file so I can decant it or measure the amount of fuel I need per cook instead of wasting fuel. So it's a quick thing to be able to just pour the fuel in. So I might carry 2 files in my fire lighting kit, as I've always done, and that does the business. That's today's business concluded. Clean, efficient, versatility in the field. Cheerio McBrin.